Good morning, majors. Today we're going to go over Unit 3. This is day 1. We're going to look at what happens when we have parallel lines cut by a transversal. So first we want to talk about a transversal. A transversal is a line that intersects two or more lines. So in this case, our transversal is going to be T, and I'm going to highlight it in red. Okay, and then we're going to look at the types of angles that intersect or that form. So first, I want you guys to stop the video or pause it and get out two colors. We need blue and green. Our green color is going to be for the interior. I want you to shade this with like a pen, a color pencil, or a crayon. And then the blue is going to be the exterior angles, which are going to be like 1 and 2, and 8 and 7. So these are my exterior angles, and my green ones are called the interior angles. Those are in between my lines, my parallel lines, or my two lines. These are my lines. So L and M. The angles between them are going to be the interior angles, and the angles on the outside are going to be exterior angles. So same side, this word same side, most of the time you're going to see the word consecutive, especially on the SOL. That just means same side, interior angles. So we're going to look at the interior angles, but we're going to look at the interior angles that are on the same side of this red transversal. So I'm going to show you guys that 3 is on the same side of this transversal as 6, and they're both interior angles. So 3 and 6. Angle 3, put angle 3 and angle 6. So this says same side interior angles are interior angles that lie on the same side of the transversal, like 3 and 6. I want you guys to write down the other pair of angles. There's only one more pair for each of these, except for the last one. Alternating exterior angles. The word alternate, means opposite. So I want you to write opposite next to it. We don't use that word opposite, but that's what it means. Alternating means the opposite side of the transversal, but they're still both interior. So if you look at 4, the rest of these are going to be interior angles, but the one that's opposite of this red transversal on the opposite side, 4 looks like it's on the left-hand side of the transversal, but on the right-hand side of the transversal is going to be 6. So angle 4 and angle 6. So these are interior still angles that lie on the alternate or the opposite sides of the transversal. And I gave you a pair. You guys write down the next pair, the other pair. Same side exterior. So now I'm looking at the exterior angles, which means the outside angles. I'm just going to erase this. So I'm looking at the exterior angles, which are 1 and 2 and 8 and 7. These are my exterior angles. Same side or consecutive means they're on the same side of this transversal. So I can use 1 and the same side of the transversal. 1 is on the left-hand side, so still on the left-hand side is 8. Those are both exterior, and they're both on the left-hand side of the transversal. Angle 1 and angle 8. So those are exterior angles that lie on the same side of the transversal, 1 and 8. You guys write down the other pair of angles. There's one more pair. Alternating exterior. So they're both still exterior angles, but now they're going to be on the opposite sides of the transversal. So we have our exterior angles. The ones that are on the opposite side is something like angle 7, And then the opposite side to angle 7 is going to be, angle 7 looks like it's on the right-hand side of the transversal. So on the left-hand side of the transversal is angle 1, right? We need one. One of the angles have to be down here with this group, and then the other angle has to be up here with this group. So if they have angle 7, the only other angle that's alternating exterior is angle 1. But there's one more pair. So alternating exterior angles are angles that are on the exterior angles that lie on the opposite sides of the transversal. We have one more. This one is called corresponding angles, and this one is usually the hardest for people to see. Write this down first. Corresponding angles lie on the same side of the transversal in the same position. The exact same position. This is the only one that we're going to have one on the inside and one on the outside. Usually they're both on the inside or both in the outside, but that's not how it works with the corresponding angles. So we still need one of my angles have to be from up top, 1, 2, 4, and 3, 3 and 4. And then one of the angles have to be from down here, 5, 6, 7, and 8, right? Now it doesn't matter which one we start with. We can start with angle 2. If you look at these 4 angles, angle 2 looks like it's in the upper right-hand corner. So we're going to go down here. The one that's in the upper right-hand corner is angle 6. So we're going to say angle 2 and angle 6 are corresponding. They have to be in the same position. Let's try green, purple. We can pick anything. Angle 4 looks like it's in the lower left-hand corner. So out of this set, the lower left-hand corner is angle 8. So angle 4 and angle 8 are corresponding angles. One more, guys. You guys can do the last one. I can choose angle 3. That looks like it's in the lower right-hand corner. This down here on the lower right-hand corner is angle 7. So angle 3 and angle 7. I want you guys to pause the video and make sure you guys have one more pair for each one. It says label the missing angle. Angle 1 and angle 2 are corresponding angles. So if you guys look at corresponding angles, they have to be in the same side of the transversal in the same position. So angle 1 looks like it's in the upper left-hand corner of these 4, right? So out of this 4, I need the upper left-hand corner. So angle 2 has to be right about here. Angle 3 and 4 are alternating, which means they're on the opposite side of the transversal. And they're interior, so they're both in between these parallel lines. So alternating means opposite sides of the transversal. My 3 looks like it's on the left-hand side of this transversal, which means my 4 needs to be on the right-hand side of the transversal. And that is the only place for it. There's no other option, guys. 5 and 6 are called same side, and then interior. So I'm going to highlight these parallel lines. Interior means that they have to be in between them, same side of the transversal. So 5 is on the right-hand side, 6 needs to be on the right-hand side. 7 and 8 are alternating exterior, so it's going to be on the outside of these parallel lines. Alternating means it's going to be on the opposite side of the transversal. The opposite side of this transversal. So it looks like 7 is on the right-hand side of the transversal and they're on the outside of the parallel lines. 8 has to be on the left-hand side of the transversal. So it looks like 8 is going to be right here. All right, guys, go ahead and flip your paper over. Now, if you flip your paper over, these are special things that happen if your 2 lines are parallel. They have to tell you in some way that your lines are parallel. Most of the time, they're not going to tell you outrightly in the directions. They're going to have these subtle little arrows on here. If they have an extra set of arrows other than the ones at the end, then that means that they are parallel. So this arrow right here means that these two are parallel. And the transversal is going to be the one by itself. So if they tell you that these are parallel, then angle 1 and angle 2, they're both in the upper right-hand corner, or sorry, upper and then left-hand corner, right? But angle 1 is an exterior angle and angle 2 is an interior angle. So these are corresponding angles. And the relationship is that they're congruent. That means that they're equal, right? That means that their measure is equal. So I want you guys to write the little equal sign. And the symbol for congruence is, we're actually going to put it right here. So it says if A is parallel to B, this means parallel, write it in, then angle 1 is congruent to angle 2. Or the measure of angle 1 is equal to the measure of angle 2. So what that means is if they tell you that angle 1 is, let's see, it looks pretty big, maybe like 110, then angle 2 has to also be 110. They're equal. The measure is equal. Now the second set, these are on the opposite side of this transversal. So highlight your transversal in like a red, or let's do it in red. I keep them going back up. And they're both in between the parallel lines. They're interior angles, but 3 is on the left-hand side and 4 is on the right-hand side. So these are called alternating, the opposite sides. Alternate interior angles. They're on the inside of those parallel lines. And their relationship is also congruent, which means their measure is equal. So angle 3 is congruent to angle 4 if they're parallel. If they're parallel, then they're going to be congruent. And our last set of congruent angles are going to be these angles 5 and 6. So they're on the opposite side of the transversal because 5 is on the right-hand side and 6 is on the left-hand side. So they're alternating. And they are both on the outside of these parallel lines, right? They're not in between them. They're on the outside, so they're exterior angles. Alternating exterior angles are also congruent. So that means that angle 5 and angle 6. Okay, our next two, our other two, are going to be supplementary. So I'm going to go through those. If they're on the same side, that means that they are supplementary. They add up to equal 180. So do you guys see that they're both interior, but they're both on the same side of that transversal? Angle 7 is on the right-hand side and angle 8 is on the right-hand side. So we call them same side. And they're both inside the parallel lines, so interior angles. Their relationship is supplementary. So that means that angle 7 plus angle 8 equals 180. They add up to equal 180. Same thing for this one. We have our transversal. 9 is on the left-hand side and 10 is on the left-hand side, but they're both exterior. So we're called same side or consecutive, same thing, same side or consecutive. And write same side above it. And they're both outside angles, exterior. And their relationship is also supplementary. Angles, which means the measure of angle 9 plus the measure of angle 10 adds up to equal 180. They add up to equal 180. And then you're done. So you guys are done with your homework for tonight. Make sure that you go over this video again, and then we'll review tomorrow in class.